Hey guys, this is Brian with Turf Mechanic, the Turf Mechanic brand. You see that little brown patch back there? I'm about ready to go level that spot. And by level, I don't mean like fill in the low spots with dirt and make it flat with that leveling rake. I mean take the high spots, which is pretty much the whole thing, and bring the grade down. I don't want to have to go dig out in there with a shovel. I want to do this the simplest way possible. I'm not going to go buy or rent a sod cutter to shave everything off. I'm going to use an old-fashioned tool that a lot of you may have in your garages already, collecting dust, something that was probably used quite a bit by, let's call it your older generations, the generations past, your parents and your grandparents. It's called a mattock. Looks similar to a pickaxe, but it's got a different shape to it. We're not going to swing it over our shoulder. We're going to swing it lazily between our legs. All right, now tools like this can be bought at just about any hardware store. Whenever I walk through a hardware store, I always like to look at the long-handed tools to see what they carry. These things are easy to find. I'll link to something on Amazon if you really want to shop online. But your best bet is just go to a local hardware store or a yard sale or an estate sale around your town. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did Mom like the picture that you made?
Yeah.
That's awesome. But really, I recommend you just go hit up like a yard sale or an estate sale and see if you can find one of these things for a couple bucks used. I mean, you talk about a durable good. That's what this thing is. Last forever. Who knows how old this is. Alright, so I'm slowly transforming this little part of the lawn over here on the other side of my SUV. I've got some good seed going in there. I'm going to be overseeding into that. But this little spot right here is a raised portion. Excuse the background noise from my good friend doing lawn work. A parkway strip, you're often going to see this little hump in the middle, and this could happen anywhere in the lawn. Like if you just have like a high spot in the lawn, you literally have to remove material to bring it down. Now if it's a very small amount, you could go take a core aerator and punch like a bajillion holes in that spot, and then everything will kind of settle into the holes and kind of flatten itself out over time. But if you got a lot of material to remove and it's kind of like widespread like this, like if you get down there, you can see that the ground, even though I've killed off all of the vegetation on the top of it, just the bare dirt humps up. It just humps up. It's too high. So if I start planting any sort of seed there, it's going to be lower on the edges, higher in the middle, and it's going to kind of wave a little bit. But overall, it's going to have a lot more elevation than I'd like. This spot actually isn't nearly as bad as other parts of our parkway strip. So as I go around, it actually gets even worse over there. So I'll be doing this eventually to the entire parkway strip. You can see I've already started killing off everything everywhere to do a full parkway strip renovation. But this spot right here is totally ready. I do have a little bit of green coming up. I have sprayed that down with a non-selective herbicide, so it should be dying. But ultimately I'm going to be overseeding this area, or I'm going to be seeding this area with the same exact grass type that is right there trying to grow. So it's going to blend in pretty nice if anything remains. All right, now before I get started, this is your standard lawn leveling rake. So if you've got a low spot and you put some compost or some sand or soil or whatever into a peat moss, you would then take the leveling rake and just rake back and forth to kind of flatten it out, with an emphasis on adding material into those low spots. High spots though, this doesn't work. This doesn't do anything at all. Like it's a tool in the shed, but you're not going to use it. What you need is this kind of a thing. This is called a mattock. So you've got kind of this axe front end. It's just an axe. But on the back of the axe, you've got something kind of 90-degree angle. So I could axe into the ground, or I could use this flat, and it's almost like using a garden hoe. The difference is it's a very heavy tool. So all you need is to do a little bit of pendulum action between your legs. And you see how it just slides right across the ground like that? If you're sliding it across the ground with a little bit of momentum over dirt, you're going to be shaving the dirt with very little effort. You just kind of do this sort of action, and you're just shaving that layer. I mean, I'm doing this one-handed because I'm holding a camera. It's really easy. Now, before I actually show you me doing the entire job over there, I have to point this out. Anyone under the sun is just going to be like, oh, well, why don't you just get a flat end shovel and just go like that? Just go right up to your high spot and start shaving. The problem is you don't have the momentum of that pendulum action. You're literally using your muscles to push, or you're kicking it with your foot. And if you're kicking it with your foot, you might be kicking it down at a steeper angle than you'd like, digging much deeper into the ground than you want to. So yes, a flat edge shovel will flatten it out a little bit. You actually have to be more careful than if you use a tool like this. And remember, this is just an old school tool. Go off to any estate sale, some random home selling off grandpa's old tools, and you're going to probably find a handful of things like this for sale for just a few bucks. Or of course you could like run off to Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, and buy a fancy one. I don't know, 20, 30 bucks. I don't know what they cost. That one used to be my grandfather's like ages ago, so I didn't even buy the thing. All right, now after doing it for a while, you're definitely going to feel it in your forearms, but it's not like going to kill you or anything like that. Depending on your posture, you might feel it a little bit in your lower back. So take it easy, go slow, just do little chunks at a time. But this is not impossible work, and you can probably do any high spot pretty quickly. So I've done about half of this high spot right here. So what I'm going to do is show you what it looks like if I just take a rake and rake all of this material off. I'm going to end up getting rid of the material or maybe reusing it somewhere else around the property. But the more you trample all over it, it becomes just a little bit messy to work with. So I'm obviously pulling off a lot of dirt with very little effort. You just kind of scrape it off the side. Basically, you just keep shaving this down until it's as flat as you want. I'm going to take this down flat, but I'm going to put it below grade, so under the grade of the sidewalk. That way I can top dress it a little bit with some sand to make it as perfectly flat as humanly possible before I go and put the grass seed down probably a little bit later this week. Yeah, whatever spot you think looks or feels a little bit high, just kind of shave it down. Gentle motions. You don't have to pick it up high. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah. Well done, man. All right, I'm going to go back inside and get a drink. I'll come back out in 30 minutes. This should be done, right? Good job, guys. You're doing great.
Do you want to help us?
Do I want to help you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. All right, I'm coming. All right, just like that, without hardly breaking a sweat, we removed an entire wheelbarrow full of dirt from this little patch. I'm actually going to go back over it with the again and bring it even flatter and below grade. But we get down low, you can see we're starting to get notably flatter. And ultimately, once I get it pretty flat and below grade, then I can go ahead and put some of this material back and flatten it back out with the actual lawn leveling rake, just like many people do all the time. Probably also throw some sand on there to get it, let's call it ultra flat.
I'm trying to go over here.
All right, watch out, I don't want to get you wet. All right, honestly, that was not bad at all. That wasn't hard. It only took a little bit longer than it should have because I was out here with my kids at the same time and filming. I'm gonna do that exact same thing to everything back here, the whole strip. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of work. I mean, that rest of my strip is, it's like 150 feet long, so it'll go for a while. It'll take me a few days probably, working in a couple hour increments. But man, it's going to be crazy flat. It's going to be really spectacular appearance from far away. It might even have that like look of like, is that real? I don't know. That's the goal. Anyway, this spot right here, I watered it down, kind of cleaned off the sidewalk. What I'm going to do is wait for this to dry out and then wait for things to settle. So some of the fluffed up dirt that I pushed around with the leveling rake is going to settle a little bit. I might add a little bit of sand to some of the low spots, or I might decide to shave the high spots a little bit more and drag it around. You know what I mean. I'm going to make some decisions on what to do, and then grass seed's going to go down. Subscribers are going to see those videos for the grass seed going down. I'm going to pre-germinate the grass seed, make an entire video about how to pre-germinate the grass seed. Once that video is ready, it's going to be linked right up here in the corner. So if you've never pre-germinated grass seed before, this is how you get grass to grow ultra fast. Like the fastest possible way you could get grass to grow in a spot is to pre-germinate it.